Welcome back, everybody. We're finally here. Hello. It's Dota Pit. Enjoy Dota's casting it. I'm Capitalist, joined by Durka. I'm reintroducing myself because, you know,
Been gone for a while.
different hair. Yeah.
What changed?
Well, I just took clippers straight down the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You want to talk some?
Why am I a bit quiet?
No, you're not even working.
Oh, do you need to plug me in? Oh.
Yeah, probably. Well, we'll go into the game now.
We'll find out what's happening.
BRB.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right.
The draft has begun.
We're in the draft. I'll cover the draft if you want to fix the audio. Join Dota. Woo! All right, we had a Bane first pick
5 seconds remaining.
with a Queen of Pain follow-up. I think that did it. Winter Wyvern and SF was the response from Elements. Kaipi versus Elements. Talk about the teams in general. Both of them kind of like tier 3, tier 4.
Hey
Kaipi
now.
haven't really had a standard roster. Hello, Durka.
Hey now.
Hello.
Tier 3, Tier 4 teams.
I mean,
You're speaking about the legendary Yapzor and Roman.
is that?
10 seconds remaining.
Is that what?
I'm pretty sure this is tier 3.
5
I'm pretty
seconds
sure-
remaining.
I mean,
Radiant
I like
team
Roman,
pick.
but I'm pretty sure he's never been on a higher tier team, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I feel like he's been the best
Fire
player
team pick.
on the teams that he's been on.
Yeah, like Goomba, he was the best player.
Oh,
he
yeah.
stood in for a bunch of, decent sort of middling teams.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing about these two squads is that ZXC used to play for KP back in their second iteration when it was Asuna, Babar, ZXC. Oh, actually, Roman played with KP a while back as well. So both of those
did he?
players were on the original KP squad.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're back
10
with a
seconds
almost
remaining.
full Romanian roster. Keanu's been around for a long time. Cancel, obviously,
Radiant
Pubstar
team
recently,
pick.
7k, I think he's hit. And then there's Buffney and Bone 7. No, come with me here, though, tonight. And then
Yeah.
what can we say about Screen? I mean, he's the PGG of the new Russian generation, right? He finds new players, he makes these new mixes and teams, and he popularizes Tusk for the rest of the world.
Yeah, the funny thing about this was that I was looking at this squad and I was going, all right, it's either 2 Ukrainians or 2 Russians, not sure which, and then 1 Russian or Ukrainian.
5
Then you've got a
seconds
Belarusian
remaining.
in CAC, and then you've got a German in RMN, and I was like, how the hell does communication work on this team?
Давай.
Presuming most of them speak Russian, except for I don't think the German does. So I asked RMN before the game started, and he said that he speaks just enough Russian to be able to get by in Dota. Said, quote, "It's the only way to survive ranked matchmaking." That's a pretty good point. Pretty good point. So, anyway, we now got a Slardar, SF Slardar. What a combination. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter going the way of Kaipi still continues to be one of the most valued carries that you can possibly get your hands on, despite him being the most valued carry not so long ago in previous patches.
Yeah, he has these sort of peaks and troughs of people really highly valuing him and even first picking him in 6.84 and things like that. But now, I think OG definitely played a big part in him coming back into the meta. But Elements, Slardar, Shadow Fiend, lots of minus armor. Winter's Curse is obviously going to be great at setting up these team fights and locking the Gyro in place, or even the Queen of Paint. But KP's early laning potential just seems that little bit stronger. Alpha damage out from Rocket Barrage of Gyro. Queen of Pain is a very strong laner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the Bane. The Bane is like that threat that just runs around, and there's a great support. Dazzle can TP react to any aggression from KP. Just try and keep those lanes locked down a little bit more.
Yeah, these are the supports that we saw OG running all the time at the majors, Winter Wyvern and Dazzle. Probably the 2 best defensive supports you can get your hands on. Lich now goes to Kaipi, so they're also going to get 2 rather defensive, not like 2 different supports that don't offer a whole lot of firepower themselves, you know? So the best you could say is perhaps the Bane, but that's a bit more dependent on whether or not he can get a
10
long duration
seconds
Fiend's Grip
remaining.
off. He's just got Brain Sap otherwise.
Yeah, it's like positioning and a movement from Bane, but there are
5
2 supports that
seconds
piss you off royally in the laning stage, honestly.
Yeah.
Difficult to handle.
Yeah, very strong laning phase for Kaipi between the
Reserve
two supports and then also the cores that are very adept at the laning phase. Queen of Pain can beat the matchup on the SF given the right plays, and of course Gyrocopter known to be one of the strongest laners out there, and a good response oftentimes to the Slardar. Slardar really can't challenge you as a Gyrocopter. If he starts sprinting towards you, you pop Rocket Barrage, he's not really going to be able to get Slither and Crush and outdo the damage that you will deal with Rocket Barrage when he's taking extra damage from that sprint.
What do we look to ban out here for KP? So we can kind of assume that it's going to be Slardar off lane, right? We very rarely see him in one role. I think Burning is one of the few players that still value that at all.
Radiant team
Viper,
pick.
okay.
Well, they could go for a hard carry like something like Spectre that's still in the pool, but when you already have an SF Slardar, it seems much more likely that you're going to try and be a bit more aggressive.
Could Huskar work at all here? Like, I know there's pure damage out from Brain Sap and Sonic Wave, but against Gyrocopter, that Huskar is such a highly valued pick, and when you've got a Dazzle up on your team as well.
Yeah, that is really valuable. Bane, I think, is a pretty good hero versus Huskar.
Yeah, that's the one I'd be more afraid of.
Yeah, not only the pure damage of Brain Set, but also thinking Enfeeble would be pretty valuable against him, right? Just because of the attack speed, if you actually get some levels in that.
I always wonder why people don't like going for Enfeeble. We used to see it from Paladai 8-9 months ago, you know, back when he was doing that whole I'm gonna roam onto your mid lane constantly and enfeeble the hell out of you before we even saw Winter Wyvern, Skyrath and Naga doing it recently. But people just don't level it up. It's all about the Nightmare Brain Sap, getting into Fiend's Grip, even skipping over some Nightmare for stats. You know, a couple of players do like that. But Huskar, Elements go for it.
So Kaipi, perhaps forgetting that hero was still in the pool, chose to ban away the Viper instead. Did try and ban away one of those more aggressive carries. Kaipi are now going to be left with a response. Offlaners-wise, there's probably not a whole left that's going to be valuable versus the Huskar. One of the most valuable heroes, the Slardar, is already in the hands of Elements. So Tusk, Spirit Breaker, all taken out of the pool. And there's Clockwork. He's not good.
The thing is, I see this as only one stun from Elements, really, which is a Slardar Crush. I wonder if you can switch the Quap to offlane and just have her leech experience a bit, and then maybe a Wind Ranger mid.
Well, if you have a Lich with the offlane Queen of Pain as well, that makes it, I guess, a lot more valid.
Because I think picking Wind Ranger here would work decently. You know, there's lots of physical attacks. That Wind Run is going to be super valuable to have. And then Focus Fire is great against Huskar.
Yeah. I mean, it's great specifically against perhaps the cores of Elements, but against those supports, it's going to be a bit more difficult. You have to deal with Weave and Shell Grave, and obviously the biggest counter is going to be the Cold Embrace from the Winter Wyvern.
It's a tough one.
10 seconds.
Is there any offlaners that we haven't talked about?
Like this Tide that's been seeing the light of day recently from time to time, but it's just not the hero we looked for.
Ooh.
That's super interesting. Where are they going to go with it?
So we're going to have like a Lich Ancient Apparition dual offlane or something? Lich Bane, perhaps? Either way, they know they messed up.
You think it's going to be AA core, right?
I mean,
I don't see a way of running Bane or Lich as a core role, whereas the AA, obviously getting into Midas/Ags or Force Staff, Ghost Scepter, whichever route you go to, is going to be incredibly important against that Huskar. Who we have to point out is Yoku. Melancholy is Yoku.
This is definitely going to be one of the more interesting laning phases that we'll see in our lives. Because my presumption, like, I can't see, like, there used to be the Lich offlane long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't really think that's really a thing. I don't think that's actually valuable.
You want impact from your offlaners nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And Lich is
yeah.
the exact opposite of that.
Exactly.
So I would much rather see Bane or Ancient Apparition in that core position, especially, like, I would normally put more value in the Bane. I've seen Banes in the core position before as an offlaner, and it actually works out pretty well. You get something like Phase Boots, you just abuse your early stats, and your fighting power that you have via Brain Sap and that HP turnaround mechanism that you have, and you could just, you know, beat anybody in 1 versus 1s, and still be really valuable in the middle of team fights as well. But the Ancient Apparition obviously has a bit more value when you're talking about direct counters to the Elements team. You've got double healers, plus very clearly the Huskar is what the Ancient Apparition has to deal with first and foremost in that Ice Blast.
And we used to see AA mid. Bring back the days of Dendi AA.
Yeah.
Was that TI1? Was it
Yeah,
TI2?
TI1.
It was TI1, right? Yeah. Oh my
Mhm.
god, that was a long time ago. Bring it back.
Yeah, there just really wasn't.
There was nowhere to go.
There wasn't
honestly.
many heroes anyway.
No.
Uh,
And laning wise, Elements, if they do go for dual lanes here and KP go for a similar kind of setup, Dazzle Slardar up at top, then you've got your Winter Wyvern and Huskar down at bottom lane.
Yeah.
The two supports are interchangeable, but I think the aggressive potential up on that top lane is going to be kind of nullified by the Gyro who can turn around quite easily on you.
mm-hmm.
So maybe you just want to leech experience. Trade farm is obviously what you aim for in the Slardar lane. You want to get the Blink Dagger on him, but also trade off and limit the farm of your opponent.
It's really too bad that they settled themselves on these dual lanes with the Lich pickup and kind of the Bane in a way. I feel he's best in a dual lane. Just because most of the time, if you don't have the kind of team to deal with the Huskar because you're overly magic heavy, you usually just go run an aggro tri lane and put pressure on him early. Huskar has to have a good laning phase, otherwise he kind of falls apart. But that wasn't even an option in the draft. Like, KP were just so royally screwed drafting-wise against this. I really feel like their best option was what we were talking about, running the Queen of Pain as an offlaner and putting getting a different mid that's more physical damage heavy, or perhaps just more late game oriented. And you could just go, okay, we're just going to split push and try and make this go late game as much as possible. But Element seemed to have the advantage almost all the way through. I mean, unless the laning phase really throws us a curveball, I'm not sure I can really see it, but maybe Kaipi can pull out some magic with whatever dual lane scenario they go with.
There's so many parameters here for KP to have to react to. Like there's the biggest one I think of is stacking the jungle for the Shadow Fiend, right? The Dazzle or Wyvern, they can make stacks over and over again. So the SF, even if he gets outplayed mid or outskilled by Cancel's Queen of Pain, can fall back on the jungle a little bit. KP can't really contest the jungle. They've got Gyro who can, once he hits like level 5 or 6, maybe get into that jungle area, but actually taking those stacks without being countered by the Dazzle Wyvern SF is going to be awfully rough. They don't have active supports, and I think we talked about this because of the dual lanes and their laning prowess. Their supports aren't roamers. They aren't dynamic enough to go around and actually make things happen on other lanes. The Nightmare has Bane. The Bane has Nightmare. But the Nightmare has Bane. But the Lich doesn't do anything.
I mean, he is the living embodiment of a Nightmare, so you could kind of say that.
Yeah. Scary horseman.
All right, so they're going to be running a 4-man bottom here. Elements, are they going to challenge? They haven't really set up just yet. Looks like the SF is going to head bottom, but as soon as they see a number of heroes, they're probably going to back down from that because they don't have the greatest level 1 fight.
30 seconds to battle.
SF can be okay with his level 1 raises, but I would imagine Ancient Apparition is going to force them back. But we'll see. They won't have the Lich. Lich is actually going back for the deny here. So with the numbers advantage, actually, Elements, they can pick up both bounty runes. If it was a straight 4-on-4, and just the fact that Chilling Touch is so incredibly powerful in that case, then I could see Elements backing down. But it's not going to happen here. General, he's going to be left alone here trying to go for that bounty rune. They will get the Chilling Touch out. Cancel is going to be able to get the slow, and an easy first blood for Kaipi, as the rest of Elements, for whatever reason, ended up backing away and not helping out the SF.
Poor General.
They did get both the bounty runes. ZXC will have that slight advantage over the Gyrocopter. But this is going to be an awkward scenario for sure.
That's the thing with the bounty rune steal there from General. I kind of use that term loosely. He's actually ahead in XP over, or he was over the Queen of Pain. Yeah, still is, which is always like a weird scenario for me because it used to be you take the bounty rune and die and it's never worth it. But the past couple of patches, I think E was one of the first to point it out. If you're in a situation where you're like 1v2, 1v3, 1v4, or even 1v5, the experience and gold shared across those heroes makes it worth it for you just to take the bounty, buy a TP, get back into lane, and you've got yourself a nice little boost of experience.
So the Bane is going to be functioning as a kind of pseudo-roamer, it seems. Yapzor is going to be laying down a counter ward to block out the hard camp stack. And he's going to be trying to put some pressure on General nice and early. Meanwhile, we've got this dual lane of the Lich and Ancient Apparition. It seems our Ancient Apparition is indeed going to be the farmer. So we'll see how this works out for Keanu.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
'Cause they've got no way of keeping the Huskar from running away. So as soon as he gets his brown boots and starts running around, there's very little they can do to stop him. But mid, Yapsor, so only level 1 with the brain sap is just zoning general back a little bit here, so giving Cancel a good time at mid.
It's like the enfeeble harassment that we used to see from Banes, except for just Brain Sap is so incredibly OP now at level 1 with that cheap mana cost that you could just play forward and always have the efficient trade.
I'm going for RMN actually.
Trying to get him. He does have a heal, but oh, Jesus, that damage is too much. And Yapsor will get himself to level 2 because of that one. SF, in the meantime, was trying to go for the stack, but that was blocked away by the counters.
So that's how they're dealing with it. They know they don't have the heroes to actually handle the stacking for the Shadow Fiend or this dual laner bomb of the Huskar. So they've warded the entire jungle. Every single area of this jungle is warded up. Sentries, observer wards.
What a rune pickup. That is a regen and cancel. The sleep, not able to get close enough for the Shadow Strike and deal some damage out to the SF. But still, they're keeping this SF down as long as possible. Kaipi, in the meanwhile, thanks to this Lich, the Ancient Apparition lane is working out pretty well for them. They keep the lane back via denies and occasionally challenging with some free harassment via Frost Blast and Chilling Touch.
And top lane's been sacked completely. It's just Gyro doing his own thing. He's farming away freely, and just looking at the last hits, it's kind of amazing to me that Elements hasn't been able to keep up. General mid, okay, I understand that. ZXC, it's fair enough that the Gyrocopter should be able to get this free farm, but Huskar bottom lane has been shut down.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like he should be having so few denies as he really does. They're going to start challenging the Lich down, trying to slow him down, but again, they don't have that stun, so it will, looks like they'll deal out more damage than they took. But it's still completely dependent on that Arctic Burn from the Winter Wyvern.
But look at Yapsor.
Coming around the back here. You could go for the sleep on a critical one or just go for the straight-up pure damage kill onto the Huskar.
Both.
Sleeps one, and Huskar, yep, he's going to be taken out by the pure damage, a little bit more. Screen, you go back to him. Yapsor starts chasing him down, just dealing out some harassive damage. Looks like our Lich will be able to survive off the back of about 7 HP.
How is this working for them?
Well, we'll see how it continues to work for them going into the mid-game, but the laning phase does seem quite favorable for them. And I say quite, but it seems almost overwhelmingly favorable if you take a look at this CS. Now, Screen's going to be caught. Brain Sap will be able to finish him off. They're going to wait on Screen. He does have Arctic Burn getting over to the trees. Maybe they can kill him here. The heal comes out, and Yapsor, unable to finish him off, won't be able to catch up. He's got boots, but that's going to be diving too deep for a kill you can't really get.
Waiting for the Nightmare during the Arctic Burn so he couldn't fly away, but got fogged a little bit there. There's one kind of glaring thing that we didn't really talk about on the KP side of things, mainly because we thought that their laning phase would go pretty poorly. But they've all got massive ultimates, like actually devastating ultimates up against Elements. Is ZXC dead here?
Bone
No,
7, Jesus.
Bone. Okay.
Calm down there. Now the SF is going to come across, and with one more right click and a raise, he misses the raise. Bone 7. He's got a TP out, throws it down now. General's not going to get there in time. And that's a clean escape for Bone 7, who dove a bit too deep there. Perhaps learning something from Eternal Envy's aggressive style of carry.
So Slaughter's level 6 is amplified damage, obviously. The minus armor is great for the Huskar, for the Shadow Fiend to get into the fights. But with KP having Sonic Wave cooldown, plus the Fiend's Grip and Ice Blast, they've got these massive teamfight ultimates where they can take, one big skirmish, take control of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, Absor turns around, tries to go for the sleep, doesn't quite get it. Cancel is rebuffed a little bit. He throws out the ultimate. RMN is going to be the first to go down. Cancel has the blink away and will be able to get out. ZXC won't be able to catch up in time, but a trade-off there of the Dazzle for the Bane with the rotating Slardar. It's not going to be too bad for Kaipi. Thankfully, they got that one kill on the support, but did cause them their Sonic Wave, and the SF is going to feel a lot more comfortable farming aggressively in his mid lane.
Oh, for sure. That Slaughter rotation, exactly what they needed. They're losing out pretty heavily here. But yeah, the ultimates from KP are so much more devastating in these early engagements than what Elements have. Because the Winter Wyvern is, pretty far away from Curse. It's down at bottom lane, actually. Yoku's Huskar That's
Are
how
they going to
much
be able to
trouble.
get him? Wand up? No. YapzOr picks up that kill with a level 2 Brain Sap. It's now 160 pure damage. The Huskar just doesn't really stand a chance. He takes the, the full amount of magic damage when he's high HP. And then the moment he gets low, he gets finished off by the Brain Sap. YapzOr, the fact that he's been able to do so well in the laning phase. Armed, gets off the Shallow Grave, will be able to TP out until this Nightmare stops him. Yoku's here. Armed's going to take out. Oh, he actually slept himself, but no, not working. Bane picks up the kill. Now YapzOr, he's going to be caught. Body blocked up quite heavily here by Huskar. Now the Lich is going to come in. They turn around, try and get more damage out on YapzOr, and that should be the end of it, as the Burning Spears will slowly but surely take him out.
Just that pressure, though. Making Shadowfiend think twice about going back into the jungle to farm. And once again, taking the Eye of Elements away from that top lane.
And this is insane. Ancient Apparition is level 6, and Huskar just picked up level 5.
Yeah.
They've got Huskar countered before he even gets his inner vitality.
And the greatest strength about Huskar is, getting that sort of 7.5, 8 minute armlet and just running around and fighting. Or using it to farm jungle, take Roshan, get your helm, get into your treads and things like that. But not being able to have that, it's like doing the long jump with the Huskar. You need that run up to actually get the distance.
They need a little bit more damage. Huskar, he's going to be able to survive through this. He's ticking pretty low. Looks like a couple more ticks, and he goes down to 89, but it's not quite enough. Meanwhile, the Ancient Apparition does get chased down by the Slardar, who TPs in once again for one of those reactive ganks.
Yeah, and there's the thing. KP don't have the kind of heroes that can TP in and change the tide of a fight. If it begins well, then they can maybe steamroll through elements, unless a couple of good TPs come out from the Dazzle, from the Slardar, etc. But KP are relatively static. They start a fight, and once they're in, they're in. They don't have these mobility heroes. They don't have people who can start, jump in, jump out. Apart from the Queen of Pain. With that blink, maybe we would maybe move around down towards his bottom lane, because Yoku, he's getting closer to level 6, but my god, that Chain Frost with the Ice Blast as well. And Buffy's chasing him down. Level 2 Frost Blast, if he gets into vision, he can fog a little bit. And
he's still got the nuke, but that's not going to be enough. There's too much attack speed. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looks like our Winter Wyvern barely gets away. Arctic burns across the trees. They do claim the tower at the very least. And Kaipi grow their gold advantage even more. Screen's going to have to go for deny on the neutrals, it looks like, but he may be caught in the process. Bone7's trying to get there in time. Screen, he's just not going to die fast enough. YapzOr gets there, sleeps one of the neutrals, and Bone7 claims the kill.
What a player, honestly. Sleep the big centaur, let your carry take the kill. That's how you do it.
Bone7 looks like he is going to be going for the SNY build. I figure Phase Boots SNY, just early stats and early physical damage, is the best way to build against a Huskar.
Do you think he could go for Silver Edge here, actually?
A Silver Edge Gyrocopter. If he goes the SNY route and then later on breaks it apart.
I don't think it's a first item pickup.
Yeah.
Silver Edge is one of those things that we see against Huskar all the time. If you don't hard counter him with particular heroes, obviously they have the AA, but I don't feel you can 100% rely on your Ancient Apparition. If you cast the Ice Blast on 4 heroes and you get that big ult, but miss the Huskar can still potentially 1v5 you.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting idea. We'll have to see where he goes with it. Keanu, our Ancient Apparition, does have Hannah Midas coming in quite soon, even faster if they can get the kill on screen, who's going to be forced down to earth here as the Arctic Burn fades away. And the kill, it'll go to our Queen of Pain. Now, ZXT is actually going to go for Keanu here, but he can't really challenge with cancel, still ready to go. Ancient Apparition throws out the Ice Blast, but it's a clean whiff. Are they going too deep? Yoku's here with a Huskar. He doesn't have his level 6, but he can just deal out damage, especially with the Slardar catching up. Buffney is going to be the first to go down. Sonic Wave! Oh, and that finishes him off. The bounce back there of the Lich Ultimate will catch the Huskar. Yeah, he was low, and yeah, it was magic damage, but when you've only got level 2 of Berserker's Blood, it doesn't mean much.
Radiant's middle tower is
He's
under
getting
attack.
shoved out of this game.
Radiant structures
And now
are
Bone7 actually
fortified.
goes into the helm, so he's gone for that belt just for a bit of strength, a bit of HP.
Radiant's middle
a little
tower
more of a
has
greedy build.
fallen.
Okay.
Still waiting to see what's... okay, Cancel's going to go into the Orchid route. So he's gone for the double nulls, which is the epitome of a laning prowess. He wanted to completely demolish that Shadow Fiend mid. Now they're looking towards that Shadow Fiend up at top. Once again, a little bit out of position as Yapzor is still level 5. No Fiend's Grip yet. It was a
What?
nightmare.
The creep wave is going to be coming in and taking some of that damage, and it might be just enough for General to get out until Cancel comes in. Screen unable to get that cold embrace in time, and it really wouldn't have mattered either way. That net worth is looking really grim for Elements at this point. Queen of Pain and Gyrocopter, both quite a significant amount ahead of the SF, and even the Ancient Apparition is going to be getting over the SF's net worth here with this Hand of Midas if SF continues to be shut down by these ganks.
So do you reckon you go straight into the axe now for this Ancient Apparition?
I think so. The builds that I've seen lately of Ancient Apparitions, like occasionally they're going like Urns. I've seen a Rod of Atos picked up once.
Like Solo likes his Arcane's mech. We've seen
Yeah.
Puppy go like Ghost Force Glimmer against certain heroes, but I think if you put him in this pseudo core role, he's got to go into the axe.
Yeah, there's just too much value in the Ice Blast in this game.
Dazzle,
Double
Wyvern,
healers.
Huskar, yeah.
And then there's even the possibility that General could go a mech. I doubt it. In a game like this, he probably just has to stat up and go straight for the S and Y, but
He might even be forced to rush BKB. Against AA Gyro. Like, sure, there's Fiend's Grip, Sonic Wave, things like that, but it's just that raw magic damage output. Sneaky,
they've
sneaky
gotta
Yapzor.
make some space for Yoku, but they're gonna try and turn around and catch him out, but still, Yoku's gonna be able to get the Cold Embrace. It doesn't matter, though. The pure damage is enough to finish him off. Elements just couldn't really respond in time to save their ally, and ZXC is so low that he can't hunt for more.
They wanted to go and catch the Bane, but they just can't do it.
Meanwhile, General is forced back as he knows if there was two heroes ganking up the top lane, there's still enough firepower on the side of Kaipi for them to catch him out in the bottom lane. So fortunately, that laning ward does give him the idea. Mid lane, ZXC actually jumping onto Keanu here, and they're going to be able to pick up that clean kill, giving General the full upgrade in souls that he desperately needs. But Jesus, there goes the Slardar. Now General's going to be caught. If the Ice Blast bounces back to him, he might still be dead. Cancel gets him with the last bit of nuke, misses uphill, will blink forward and finish him off now. Double kill there. Doesn't have a blink away, though, so it looks like Yoku will be able to pick up this kill.
Winter Wyvern takes it, though. That would have been great over on the Huskar. Finishes his armlet, maybe gets into his next item, the helm, the treads. But we're looking 14 minutes in now. This is basically twice the threshold of time where you want that armlet on the Huskar. You look at 7 to 8 minutes, it's now 14 in. He doesn't even have it fully completed yet. And I don't know how well Huskar does at coming in from behind. You know, he's great at going for a sneaky Roshan, catching up a little bit in those regards, but he doesn't flash farm well. Let's say being able to get in there with a grip, but still on cooldown from Yapzor.
Yeah, he's so poor in a game like this. Just because so much of Huskar is reliant on being able to fight and get early kills. And if you are able to do that successfully, then you're able to take towers, Roshan, etc., and just build your advantage. But if you can't get step one, and this is why I was talking about in a draft, you have to shut down the Huskar in the laning phase if you don't have the mid-game prowess to deal with him. Well, Kaipi certainly did that. Did it quite well.
Slardar has his blink now. This could be the makings of the beginning for Elements. They get some key kills.
Going to need a lot of successful ganks. They do have a lot of squishy cores on the side of Kaipi that are easily taken out by an initiation like that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Look at how they're all set up. Yapzor's up at top, ready to fight. He wants people to TP in here so he can grip someone. Bottom lane is two cores, the Gyro, Queen of Pain. Again, waiting for someone to defend bottom lane. KP are the ones setting up the terms of engagement here in Yapzor.
Oh, Yoku, he may actually be taken out here. If Yapzor can actually get out the brain sap, it might be enough. Yeah, it is. Takes him out. RMN hides himself in the trees, has a Shell Grave ready to go, and will try and go for the TP out. Meanwhile, ZXC, he's orking it up. Cancel's going to be forced to blink away, but now ZXC is left alone. His General is forced back. The Chain Frost just keeps bouncing around, and Bone 7, he's catching up. Keanu with that excellent slow there of the Ice Vortex. Sonic Wave goes out. General is hit by that one. He'll be taken out there as Keanu finishes him off and Screen. He's the only one left alive of this top lane engagement. He's going to go for the TP out and should be able to get it, or maybe not. The Ice Blast comes in and Screen instantly dies. The vision necessary is there. Keanu, 2 different Ice Blasts in that fight. The first one to go on the Huskar, and the last one to finish off the remaining hero.
Honestly, if I was in the KP TeamSpeak right now, I'd be giggling like a little schoolgirl. Honestly, the way these lanes have worked out perfectly for them, every rotation has fallen into their trap, and KP have set these all up for themselves. It's not been fortune. It's just been well strategized movements across the map. And I've got to say, Yapzor has set everything up. This guy has set up kills mid. He forced Shadowfiend back. He warded the entire jungle. But the 2 or 3 kills he set up at top on the Huskar, setting up this good 5v5 fight as well. His positioning's been pretty damn good.
And he's hoping to be able to find a little more. He's traveling around with Cancel into the enemy jungle, but not finding anything yet. Cancel actually runs into Yoku. Throws down that Orchid, but unless Yoku runs into this Ice Blast that's on its way, it will be hitting him, and looks like he's dead. He can't turn off the armlet here. He's gone. Cancel shows up just to take some of that experience, but Huskar goes down once again. That's 6 times in the last 17 minutes.
And now if KP look towards that Roche pit, they could take the last gleaming hope from Elements away from under them, but Elements on the aggression.
They really want to get a pickoff on mid, but Kaipi responded with just enough TPs that forced away that gank real quickly. And General goes back to farming.
How many abilities do we have in this game that actually cancel TPs? Is it 4? Winter's Curse, Crush. I guess level 4 Poison Touch, but no one ever counts that, right?
Yeah,
that doesn't exist. Oh, there's Homing Missile, Chain Frost.
Can't really count that one either, I would say, most of the time.
Yeah, Chain Frost, Nightmare, and Fiend's Grip. So there's like 5.
Yeah.
Not many.
Weird game. So the completed Sanj now for Bone 7 alongside the Helmet Dominator we were talking about earlier. He's got his basic early game stat items. Will be a fighting monster. Just casually throws out the ultimate there. Pushing back the wave. Screen's going to catch him with the Arctic Burn, but Bone 7 should be fast enough. ZXC, he could still go for it and go for the blink, but Gyrocopter's more than tanky enough to deal with this. Bottom lane, looks like Yoku will be able to dodge that Ice Blast, but it doesn't seem to matter. The magic damage, or rather the pure damage from Cancel's Sonic Wave is more than enough to finish him off, especially with the DD.
You get the trade-off there, and the funny thing is Huskar, sure, he's a core hero in a core role, and he's been given priority 1 farm for the most part, right? But he is worth less than his Ancient Apparition. Take a look at the fight recap. There's like a 300 gold swing and about a 400 experience swing for Elements there from that one-to-one trade-off. Giving away your AA, sure you've shut down Huskar a little bit more, but do you need to do this? That's the question I'm looking at here for KP now. What's stage 2 or what's plan B? Because they've won the lanes, they're going to get another pick off on screen at top, most likely.
Yeah, he's slowed down exceptionally now. Yoku, oh no.
I'm not sure about that.
He tried to dove into that one, and that was just a Fiend's Grip immediate response. They have another Brain Sap coming in soon. They're going to sleep him up for the time being, wait for the Brain Sap, and he's gone. That was just too easy for Kaipi.
It's almost a tipping point now for Elements, because if KP go and get Roshan after this tier 2, or even after defending the bottom tier 1 of their own, then that could actually be the signal of the end. It's 20 minutes in, and it's kind of hard to say this, but Elements, they don't have the raw fighting power to really quell a push up onto high ground right now.
Yapzor has a Blink Dagger. The Ancient Apparition did go the utility route that we've seen in most AAs. We haven't talked about the increased magic damage from the Ancient Apparition. This has been routinely picked up by Ancient Apparitions lately. The Ice Vortex seems to have a lot more value as it's been routinely buffed up. But what do you think about its value against Huskar? Do you think we actually are able to see that, the Huskar getting, low enough and he's getting close enough to that almost magic and vulnerability? What kind of impact does that 30% actually make? Do you think it's actually something that somewhat counters Huskar?
I think it's more about the slow. Like, honestly, the magic damage is a big part of it, but I always see Ice Vortex as being majorly about the slow, because with the magic damage, you rarely notice, like, the difference between normal spell damage and that 30% increase. It kind of makes up the gap for that natural hero resist, but I'm not sure about the kind of interaction with Huskar there.
Yeah.
And It's obviously going to make a difference. But
Because it got nerfed in this last patch, right, where he doesn't reach the same kind of magic and
mode.
vulnerability as he used to.
he doesn't get the increased damage either, because he used to get attack speed, damage, and magic resist. But now you've pointed out, the AA thing that I most noticed here is that Cold Feet's still level 1. We've seen a lot of people actually maxing out Cold Feet and leaving Chilling Touch on 1.
Top tower is under attack.
Again, there's a lot of
There's tons of different builds and nuances from player to player.
and lack of stuns for Kaipi, right? We were talking about that earlier. His best one will obviously be he pairs really well with the Bane with Cold Feet, but Jesus. They have such a huge stack here. Bone 7's clearing through this one nice and fast. The rest of Elements, they're pushing down the middle lane. They'll get that one. They're going to catch Bone 7 here in the process, but the Ice Blast is going to come in, and Bone 7 seems to be just fine. In fact, it's ZSZ who's going to be in potential trouble here as Chain Frost bouncing around. RMN does take that one away. Screen's going to be the first to go down, though. Cancel blinks away just before the last raise, and General's now going to be slowed down to pretty much nothing. Sonic Wave almost finished him off, but now they get that Shallow Grave out. Keanu, who's also going to be going down as Yoku. Did he do enough damage there with the Burning Spears?
No.
It looks like it's not quite enough. Tick, tick, tick. Not enough. Yoku, he's orking it up now, but DXC goes back in, catches Cancel, trying to finish him off. They will be able to get him with the raise, but Yoku's still alive.
They've got Ice Blast in 4.
Left up. Yeah, I'm sorry. He doesn't have enough mana for a Brain Sap.
Ice Blast incoming.
Bone 7 just wants to be able to finish off RMN. First things first, but the Ice Blast is coming in. Oh no, Yoku! He gets hit by that one just barely. Bone 7 commits for the kill, does be able to get it. And now General's going to be run down. He knows he just has to turn around and fight Bone 7, but the homing missile gives him the stun, the opportunity for Bone 7 to claim the triple kill.
I didn't notice the Lotus Orb from Lich there. I don't know if he picked it up before that fight or if it was on him for a while.
I hadn't seen it before
But
until that SF save, so.
Well, it was the fact he put it on the gyro as the Winter Wyvern was encroaching on him, right? The Slider jumps in, crush, amplify, right, we're ready to fight. Just curse him, curse him, curse him. But no, Lotus Orb is there. You can't go and curse a Lotus up hero because you can bounce back onto you. You're focusing down your own teammates, and that AA gets himself away on 20 HP, ticking down one last Burning Spear tick. He had one charge coming off cooldown in like 2 seconds, just waiting for that bit of HP burst. And he gets away by the skin of his teeth. And
Yeah, what was that? That was Yapsor's sleep, right? That stopped the Huskar from finishing off the Ancient Apparition?
Yapsor nightmares him up. He escapes with 1 stick charge, Tranquil Boots, get himself back to base, and he gets back to Fountain. Honestly, his Ice Blast comes back off cooldown at the perfect time, and they turn that fight once again. Because that was a good fight for Elements. It could have been an amazing fight.
Oh, Yapsor. He knew Screen wasn't TPing away from that one. They'll catch him out as he flies back down. 10-27 now, 24 minutes in. The Scold lead just continues to grow for Kaipi.
Roshan's still alive, boys. Who's going to go in first?
Yeah, it's just been kind of a bloodbath. Mainly one-sided the last few minutes, but I'm sure Kaipi are going to find that opening eventually. We've got a BKB now on cancel. Yeah, they're going to go for it now. And the Elements, pretty clearly no way to stop this one. I mean, they may go for the smoke here and try and catch Kaipi in the middle of Roshan, but it's already going to be taken. Well, maybe not. It's only down to half HP. They wouldn't be able to stop Roshan if they ran straight to the pit, but they might have been able to get some sort of fight, you know, right outside the Roshan pit. Unfortunately, they're going the wrong direction. So
Now they've realized the mistake, they turn, but I don't know if you fight into this. And it looks like Huskar is actually going to start building into a BKB. He's got the Yoga Club, but it's such an irritating situation as a Huskar to actually have to buy BKB. And there's like 2 scenarios in which you do it, where A, they chain stun you into oblivion with like Lion, Hex, Stun, Earthshaker fissuring you and things like that. Or there's an AA on the enemy team who's just crushing you with magic damage coming out from the rest of his team. Because really, you know, ideally you want to make Satanic, you want Halberd, you want all these strength stats items to pump up your inner vitality and just give you stability in the team fights. BKB is you know, usually a waste of money, but it's something he desperately needs here.
Ancient Apparition will start building into the Aghanim Scepter. He's halfway there already.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Looks like they're just going to go for the trade-off here. Top lane is going to be pushed down by Elements. Kaipi can respond if they want to. Looks like with the right Ice Blast, they will go for the defense.
Who does Yapsor blink onto here? Oh, the Huskar. The Huskar's walked forward?
Yeah, he is so far forward here. Yapsor unable to get the Fiend's Grip just yet. Screen's going to be caught by its ultimate, and then to finish him off, Yapsor now gets the Fiend's Grip onto Yoku. ZXC responds with the two-man stun while the SF throws out his ultimate, but it's just Kaipi running over elements on every side of the fight. It's only Yoku who's left, and he claims just one kill only on the Ancient Apparition before the fight ends.
ZXC with a blink TP. Yapsor cannot catch up. Almost gets in there with a nightmare. But I don't know what Yoku was doing. The rest of his team backs up. The call is, pretty obvious there. Get the hell out. We're under a lot of pressure here with the TP coming in. Yapsor ready to strike. And Yoku walks forward. I don't know if he was giving up his life for the rest of his team to escape, but it definitely wasn't enough. He could not be that scapegoat. KP wanted blood.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Well, now Kaipi can go ahead and take the tier 2s pretty much at their leisure. They don't have that Aegis anymore, but oh, Jesus. Bone 7 has 5,500 gold. So he can go whatever he wants. If he wants Butterfly, that's his item. MKB, whatever. Doesn't matter. He can afford a luxury item at this point.
Buy whatever the hell you want. Whatever your heart desires.
Oh, cancel. Running to RMN here, actually blinking away. Didn't want to take any chances by being disabled up by screen and taken out. Cancel's a bit too valuable right now.
Oh, they have a gem over
That
on
heavy
Buffy now.
kill spree.
The courier flies straight over the one aggressive observer ward that the Radiant have. Speaking of, ZXC tries it on Keanu, but with that force staff up, no chance of catching him. And he did go for the force before the Aghanim Scepter, which I really like. Utility is such a great way to go on the AA, especially against heroes like Huskar and Slardar. Their mobility. You want to get yourself out of harm's reach just long enough to cast your ultimate. Hey Yapsor, what are you doing?
Waiting for his opportunity to strike. Looks like they're going to try and go on general here. This won't be the best opportunity, though. With the rest of elements sitting right next to general inside the jungle. Oh, the illusion's going to scout him out. And that ruins the attempted counter gank of elements. There's the MKB now for the gyrocopter.
This is where things get really rough for elements because they're going to be dealing with a black map now.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Gem on the
attack.
lich, he's just roaming around looking for ward after ward. There's nothing left for this Radiant team.
Dire's structures
Finally, the
are
BKB is up for
fortified.
General Shadowfiend though, so at least
Radiant's
they've
middle
got
tower
some way
is
of
under
staying in a
attack.
team fight and keeping things going.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Everything's so highly reliant
Dire's
on,
bottom
I feel, a
tower
big
is
Winter's
under
Curse here, or
attack.
ZXC getting, a 3-4 man crush.
Yeah.
It's down to KP grouping up.
They need that other BKB as well. Yoku's almost has it.
Oh yeah.
So, those two BKBs, maybe we can see some magic happen. But they're going to need to control, I don't know, it's probably his gyrocopter first and foremost. Not only is he one of the biggest damage dealers, but he also doesn't have a BKB as of own. Whereas Cancel has his, you've got Keanu with the potential force staff play.
Roman.
Yeah.
A touch of trouble, but I don't think he's surviving that one. The hit squad is after him. Nice little visit to Bruges and off he goes.
Well, Kaipi will take a tower. And Yapsor, every single time they go for this push, Yapsor is always on the other side of things, waiting for the opportunity like this. When a hero tries to split push, he grabs him with a disable and then a TP in. Unfortunately, Yapsor didn't quite get the Winter Wyvern this time around,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower has fallen.
theoretically, it's the right play.
Alright, Yoku, sell that ring, buy your BKB. No? Still holding on to it. Guess if we can farm this bottom lane, then it's fine. What are we looking at Roshan timing-wise? Still another couple of minutes until we see when the big man respawns. Bone 7. This guy is almost untouchable right now. And even though Huskar is such a great counter against the Gyro, it's at this point where Gyro has completely surpassed expectations and Huskar's falling short. We're looking at double the net worth here. the difference between Gyro and Huskar is 8,000.
Yeah, really, it doesn't matter how much magic damage your hero brings to the table. Any hero with phase boots, SNY, and MKB deals out enough physical damage to threaten this this Huskar.
And is level 19 and has 4,000 gold in the bank.
Yeah, he's got so much. You think he completes Satanic now, just to deal with the Huskar's damage?
I think Butterfly's the way to go.
That'd be another good way to dealing with the Huskar.
Because like SF's there's no way SF gets MKB anytime soon. I don't know if that's what he'll look for next either. And then there's no way of piercing that Butterfly.
Oh, they're going to catch Bone 7 here. Jump on him immediately. They do have some response, though. There's the defensive Nightmare. They also have the Lotus Orb. Chain Frost's going to bounce around. Screen actually catches himself there and will be going down because of it. It actually commits suicide because of that interaction. But they got the pick off they really wanted, which was on the Gyrocopter. A very good trade-off for Elements. But that's only going to happen once. Kaipi, if they want to be able to maintain control of this game, aren't going to give any more openings like that to Elements.
That's a once-in-a-blue-moon kind of thing where there's no Ice Blast to land on their heads. Could have been a great old fight for KP, but 7 is the one to fall. General has 2,000 gold saved up in here. Back to him. I don't know what he aims for. I kind of feel that you have to wait to see what the Gyro goes for next. Like if he picks up the Talisman or something, then you think about MKB of your own. But it's such a difficult choice because you could feasibly think about a blink here. You know, if you catch someone with the Winter's Curse, you can blink forward BKB Requiem, and that's one kill in the bag. You know you've secured a kill there for your team, and can actually push forward in the team fight.
So what do you build on the SF if Gyro's Satanic?
Which he has done. I just saw the courier, and he's got the he's got the stuff in there. Yeah.
I figured that's why I'd post that hypothetical for you. What do you build then?
I honestly don't know. I think you go for the blink, and you just hope for that one-hit kill kind of deal.
Yeah, okay. Go for the combo play. Jump in, General caught by the Ice Blast, and cancels here as well. He actually stops screen there with a beautiful Orchid, making sure there's no Cold Embrace or Winter's Curse turnaround. And now he's still going to catch screen, it looks like. With the slowdown, Yapzor can be there to sleep him up. Wait for the rest of his allies to come in, but it's actually, Elements. Nice blink away from Yapzor. Good response. Cancel, jumping forward, trying to defend that ward. But unsuccessfully.
If you don't have your SF for 50 seconds, and he's going to have to buy back here and respawn with half souls.
He does go for the blink play.
You have to, but this is a play that you have to go for with full souls. You need the Winter's Curse, the full wound-up Requiem, to kill the Gyro before he can do too much damage. But he sold it again.
Radiant structures are fortified.
He sold the blink. Doesn't look like KP can actually push high ground. Ooh, it's getting close here. It's a tightrope walk here for Elements, honestly. Any tiny slip-up can just end the game for them.
Well, Kaipi are going to make that slip-up even easier for Elements. They've got Roshan available to them. Kaipi could just take an extra life on the Gyrocopter, and there goes your Wombo combo. Poke inside the pit, see that Roshan is ready to go. And as soon as Bone 7's done dealing with these Ancients and has his Satanic, seems like they'll go for the play. Elements are here for a response, though. And Kaipi, if they get a little too over-anxious in claiming that Aegis of Immortal, Elements might be able to put a stop to them. ZXC, they reveal him now. He's just going to go for a stun up here and the amp damage on Bone 7, but nothing further. Just a little bit of harassive damage, gaining some information. Bone 7, though, is pretty much daring them to try and stop him from doing Roshan at this point. It's already down to half HP, thanks in part to the pickup of the Solar Crest. ZXC stuns him a little bit more. Still looking for that one opening. General, they're going to start going in now, but Cancel, he's just waiting on the side here with this Invis rune. He's going to jump in now. Ice Blast's going to completely whiff, but they caught ZXC, and he will be the first to go down. Bone 7's going to be the target. Yoku tries to go on to him. Meanwhile, in the background, Cancel actually goes for the two supports, claims them both, while Yoki just continues to beat on Bone 7. It looks like they will be able to pick up that one kill, but at what a cost, as the rest of the team does go down. General trying to go for the TP out,
Nightmare.
But he's going to be caught in the process. Nightmare puts a stop to that. That's going to be a wipe. A buyback immediately there from the Winter Wyvern. ZXC still on the front lines and has a gem to pick up Might want to grab that. Oh, okay.
He got it.
Never mind.
He got it.
He almost lost his life for it. Jesus.
He's got a haste force blink. He's
Hey.
fine. He's
See
a
what you
slippery
can
little
pull
devil.
off here, ZXC.
Oh, the glimmer
Cancel's
play.
actually not doing Roshan. He's baiting ZXC into the pit to try and stop him. Not chancing a potential steal, and ZXC will be taking that bait, munching down on it, immediately dying, so to his screen.
They know the slot are brought back to actually come back into that, so it's that mentality where I've got to make it worth it. You know, I've got to actually do something with my buyback here, which would be that Aegis steal. But Cancel one step ahead.
Hey, now they'll just wait until the gyrocopter's back up, right?
Yeah, why not?
He's the one who wants the Aegis anyway.
But yeah, with the gyro in the pit, he's the only target you can go for. They couldn't really see the AA Lich, Queen of Pain, or the Bane.
Right.
They managed to get amplified damage on the Lich at one point, but then they committed heavily into the pit. And that's where Elements really found themselves in it was this really weird kind of decent position, but awful position at the same time, because they found the gyro, they got a ton of damage down onto him, and eventually killed him, even through the Satanic. But their supports couldn't do anything. They couldn't actually play forward into this. The Dazzle and the Winter Wyvern couldn't actually get their big spells out, just because the wraparound from Kaipi was too strong.
Well, Roshan, he'll die now. That means not just Satanic, which is kind of an extra life for the gyrocopter in its own, but now the real extra life, the Aegis Immortals available to him, that's pretty much an unstoppable gyrocopter now. Kaipi can just go for the bottom lane push, claim a lane of racks as a trade-off for this Aegis. And Elements are going to be hard-pressed stopping this.
Invisibility.
Oh, they'll get the tier 2 atop at the very least. ZXC's been hunted from the side.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, with Cancel.
Radiant's
Or Staff
bottom
forward
tower
will be
is
able to get
under
out. The
attack.
rest of the team, though, starts pushing into that tier 3 tower. Looks like they are going to form a defense here, leading with the
Radiant's
weave.
bottom tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
ZXC, he was really looking for that.
They're really desperate to just keep this push going. They force Cancel back and will be able to keep the SF back to defend. So looks like in this potential round of split pushing, Elements do come out on top.
I wonder if KP can fight 4v5 here. Up on this ramp, they definitely can.
Yeah, they seem pretty confident being able to stand their ground and waiting for the Queen of Pain to
Meander her way back down towards bot.
yeah.
General doesn't have a TP for 30 seconds. If KP realize this, well, they will, because they TP'd behind their tier 3, 30 seconds ago as well, so they'll know he has no way of getting down here.
Maybe they just know they have to go for the trade-off here. RMN almost dying just so the flat cannon and the ultimate. Looks like Yoko's going to be hit by that Ice Blast, which is going to prevent any sort of defense out from Elements. The ultimate goes out, doesn't hit RMN. Screen is going to be caught in the process, though. Looks like that Orchid, not enough to take him down.
Radiant's bottom
They got the
tower
tier 3 at top,
has
and General is now pounding away at range racks. He's got Blink, TP.
Oh, Jesus. Yabzor actually completes that TP, and General one-shots him, and he'll continue to go for the lane of racks.
That game of chicken, I mean, Yabzor, you didn't want to get involved with General. He's never going to back out.
He pops his BKB, continues to go for the lane of racks, but the Winter Wyvern's down. Yoku starts beating onto Bone 7, but he won't be able to get the kill. Fortunately, the Shalgrave keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but Cancel does way too much damage. Nice blink away from ZXC's stun. And now he may be going down as well. Cancel has the blink ready to go, and will be able to finish him off. Triple kill beyond godlike. Bone 7 is completing out the racks. General has now completed a Desolator just for some cheap damage. He will now look to focus on Bone 7. Bone 7, he still has that Aegis and soon to be a Satanic round.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Elements did get the racks up at top. That's honestly the best trade they could ever hope for. They lose one racks mid, and that's what they're missing out on here, is melee racks mid. But what is their way of dealing with these super creeps coming in? Because they don't have something like an Ember. They don't have someone who can really shove waves hard apart from the Shadow Fiend.
Right.
Splinter Blast is okay. Throw that out a couple of times and you clear the wave, but Huskar definitely can't. And then the problem is going to find a fight outside of your base. Actually taking the fight towards KP. Who's surely going to be on the aggressive in a couple of minutes' time. You know, heal up the gyro, TP back out. He's got 6,200 gold to spend. I mean, Butterfly is definitely on the cards here.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, with the Desolator being caught by the picked up by the SF, and very clearly just no damage on the Huskar, or rather no gold. They won't have MKBs for like years.
Literally years.
14-44.
Oh god! Whoa. Yeah, I did not look at the score. Holy crap!
Over a 30,000 gold lead for Kaipi.
It doesn't feel that.
Over 30,000 experience.
It doesn't feel that disparate though. Like it doesn't. I know.
Yeah, considering most games don't even reach a 30,000 mark, because it's over by then.
Like,
you know, one team definitively wins.
It's got to come down to the fact that KP have 3 supports basically, right? And they've essentially got one real carry hero. Queen of Pain's, you know, more magic damage mix. Going for the AC definitely helps out, but. Yeah, once you get to 44 to 14, usually you're like, well, there are 3 heroes going to demolish people, right?
Elements keep going for the middle lane push. This Desolator's working out for General, at least in this one regard. He's got 4,200 gold now, and he'll complete a Moon Shard and eat it immediately. He wants to be able to keep his TP. I am rather surprised that's the item he went for, but I guess he really doesn't want to lose out on his S&Y.
I mean, buyback is a thing.
Not in General's mind. In
buyback.
General's world, there is one life only. And he's going to use it to try and kill Keanu. Almost catches him. The Ice Blast heads up the top lane. Doesn't get him. Keanu does end up going down, though.
That's your Ice Blast gone. This opens things up for the Huskar a hell of a lot. And you can see KP, tail between their legs. Get out, guys. We've got to leave.
Oh, or maybe they don't, or do they? ZXC, he jumps in, gets the stun, waiting for the rest of his team now to show up, but he's going to be caught, and he doesn't actually have sprints, so he's going to be hit by that one. Screen immediately scythe up, unable to get off the Winter's Curse, and she'll finish off the Slardar too. Yoku's going to be the next target, actually jumping onto Buffney now, tries to attack Yapzor, but Yapzor's not holding off. He just keeps on going for that Fiend's Grip, takes down the SF. RMN's going to be going down, and finally the GG is called. It took us going to 44 minutes with almost a 40,000 gold lead. Almost. We're actually just 2,000 gold. 3,800 gold lead for Kaipi is what this resulted in. You know, if you want to go ahead and count them taking lanes of racks and tier 4 towers, then easily over 40,000 gold lead. And it still went to 44 minutes before this game ended.
That was a weird game.
That was a really weird game. There it is, that last ticker, as it ends over 40,000.
I still don't understand General forgoing buyback. Like, I can kind of get it. You know, it's that last chance saloon kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
we go all in the next fight. If I respawn, if I buy back, I'm on half souls and I'm useless kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, that's just game number 1. What looked to be almost a draft advantage to Elements off of the last pick. Huskar gets evened out by Kaipi picking up the Ancient Apparition, and actually
that was
turns the other way.
Laning wizardry, I want to call it, from KP. Like, honestly, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. Yapzor did some amazing things. So did the rest of Kaipi. All right, guys, that's just game number 1. We'll be back with game number 2 shortly.